Hello. Hello, Ritvik. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Ritvik.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm sorry. I think at that day I tried. You waited for like 1 hour, maybe more than.
1 hour. 1 to 1.5 hour.
Sorry, I was.
No issues. It happens.
I tried to call you back on the
Huh.
same number,
Yeah, I
but
was in the middle of something that time.
okay, cool. Good to know that you joined us back today.
Hmm.
Cool. So I have, when I took the interview that day, so I did make some notes. So hopefully you don't have to repeat yourself,
Hmm.
right? Okay. Cool. So I will focus. So do you want to know anything more about IAS, or you're clear about IAS, about the role,
Yeah, I'm clear.
SRE role? Are you clear about it?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess your video is stuck. Hello.
Yeah, wait.
Okay.
Let me
Actually,
reconnect.
your video is stuck.
Okay, wait.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Cool. Cool. So I this call, I got to know because I just viewed your profile again. So I did get some memories what all I asked you. So so this time I'll just focus more on the. You're there.
Yeah, I think it is better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it is better now. So yeah, so I looked at your resume. I remember that what are the questions I asked the last time, right? So this time there is no rush. So don't worry, you can take your own time this time. Okay. So on this call, I'll just focus more on the monitoring side, right? So maybe I'm sorry. So you have used few of the monitoring tools, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess you have used. Let me just get your resume.
Nagios, Prometheus, Grafana mainly. But recently I am not sure. Back in KMG I was using them. So because in KMG I was in the cloud migration program only, where I was using insights and cloud monitor only, and that to the basic metrics.
Okay.
I mean whatever is provided by the Azure by default, no customizations.
But do you know how to write a alert? So let me rephrase my question this way, right? So let's say there's an application, right? So there's an application, and it's a customer facing application. Right. So the developers have written the code for it. Like they might have used Jenkins to build the code. They might have the CI, right? They might have used Ant and Maven, and they deployed the same application on the, let's say, on the Tomcat server, or maybe on the IBM web apps, wherever it's possible, right? So the application is deployed. Now the development team comes to you and tells you, right, I want to measure the performance of the application. So what are the various indicators that you will mention on the top of the application? How you're going to define the thresholds, how you're going to integrate the alerts, right? So just you got my question. Is it clear to you?
Yeah, so actually those parameters are known as the metrics. So if I talk about the CloudWatch, except for the RAM, I mean the memory, all the metrics are present there only. So if we go to the AWS dashboard, all the metrics are going there only, based on the CPU and disk usage and network throughput and the server load and all that stuff. So regarding the addition of the servers, so we can add if we are using third-party tools. So there are etc files. So there we had to add the servers. So that time they are known as the nodes. So there we have to either add the IP address of their those nodes, and then we can monitor them. So in that way we do. So in the Nagios, various types of plugins are used, and the connection is SSL encrypted. So in that way the connectivity is established.
Right. So that is for the service, right? That is for the server. So you can measure the CPU, you can measure the RAM, you can define the threshold, right? If your CPU is above like 78%, you should alert it. But what about the application? Not the server, the application itself. So the application which is hosted on that server. So let's say it's an let's say it's an Amazon application, right? So you want to see, and let's say it's a payment gateway, right? So you want to see that how many times whenever the customer made a transaction on the page, what was his response time, right? How many times it was delayed, how many times he got a maintenance page.
So first of all, we will measure the metrics if we talk about the particular application data. How many hits are there, and how much time the user is responding, and what his general behavior is on the Amazon. So we will collect that kind of data. But based on that, we will do whatever we want.
So you're saying that we'll see how many hits are done by the customer.
Yes.
So
number of hits. Right? Number of hits by the not the single user.
Right. From the multiple users, multiple hits, right?
Yes.
And how we will do that? So where you will get this data from?
No, that I have not configured.
Okay. So how do you? So you as you said, you have worked on load balancers, right? No, I guess you're stuck, right? So load balancers are the way through which you can expose your application to the customer, right? Load balancers.
Yes.
Right. So if you're able to take the count from the load balancer, then you should be able to measure it, right? Okay. Now let's say that I'm the customer, I tried to reach your application, I got a 400 error, right? So 400 error or 504 error. Let's say it says the website is under maintenance, right? Or I got a 404 error or 504 error. Now if I ask you that you have to write an alert where you want to measure in a day how many 404 alerts the customer got, right? And you have to set a threshold that if it goes more than this, then it should alert the system. So how you're going to do that?
I mean, through scripting we can do that, but such kind of scenario I have no experience.
Okay. So if you're saying through scripting you do that, so see actually with monitoring tools, right? If you use, as you have used CloudWatch and as you have used Grafana, right? So there are a few more tools called as Prometheus. There are Datadog, right? So they give you the templates. So all you have to do that wherever your application is written, wherever it is hosted on a server, you have to define your application.yaml file, right?
Yes.
In application.yaml file, you have to define your scrape targets, right? And you have to define your count of 404 errors, right? So there's a syntax like in coding we have a syntax like whether it's a dictionary or class, then you have to define the loops, right? In the same way. So that's the way you will get it there, right? So that is one way. Cool. Let me get there. Okay. And I remember you were saying that you have used which tool for infrastructure automation? Terraform you have used, right? So basically Terraform is for provisioning, right? Right. So if you want to provision a new infrastructure on AWS, now if you want to do some patching, can you do it from the Terraform as well?
Yeah, we can do it, but I have not done that patching part.
Okay.
Created resources only. So patching means what kind of?
Let's say that let's say you are running a Linux server, and let's say it's running a CentOS machine, right? And let's say you're using a CentOS some version, but you have an update that you need to upgrade your CentOS version.
Okay.
Or sometimes there's a requirement that you're using pip install, so you're using Python 3.4 or maybe 2.7, and they're asking you to upgrade the server, right? So we can't do it manually, right? It will be difficult to go to each server and do it. So what we do, we create the templates, like we create the templates in CloudForm, maybe in Terraform as well, because see, I haven't worked much on the Terraform, so I won't tell you much on the Terraform side. But here in my organization, we use CloudFormation, we use Puppet. So with all this, we just need to define few of the PP files or few of the cookbooks we need to write, and it will start upgrading your upgrades, right? So
okay.
Right. So I guess you might know about the Artifactory, right? So in Artifactory, we store all the versions. Then to automate it, we just write a code which will take the latest artifact from the Artifactory and get it deployed on the servers.
Okay.
Okay.
So artifact is something which is a bundle of software plus the how it will compile.
So artifact is your, see, like Git is your version control, artifact is also your version control, like JFrog is there, but it only stores the stores the versions of your software. Like if I select, if it will have an package Python 2.3, then 2.4, 2.6, right? So see, whenever developer writes the code, he pushes pushes his code into GitHub. From GitHub, it gets built, then it gets deployed on the server, right? Now sometimes, so if your automation is very good, so moment, right, Google what does, moment they write the code, they build the code and they deploy it on the production, right? That means their entire pipeline is robust, there is no problem, they have tested there multiple times, right? But if you're in an organization where you know that your pipeline is not like really smart, so what you do, you build it and you build the code, but you keep the code. So once you build it, you just zip the package, right? To zip into the package, right? .zip or then to store this, we store it in the Artifactory, so that whenever the release management says that your code is ready to be deployed to production, we can take it from the Artifactory and get it deployed on the server. So that is the reason we use Artifactory, right?
Yes.
So we should know how to integrate Jenkins with Artifactory, then you know how to integrate your Artifactory with the deployment server.
So in my BSSC project, so all the Artifactories were located in the Nexus repository, and we used to pull from the Bitbucket, and then the Jenkins pipeline was run, but that was manual.
Cool. Maybe, you know, I might have asked you this question again, but I just want to rephrase my memory. Sorry for that if I'm repeating myself. So I just wanted to understand what are the few of the commands that you have run in Linux, you know, on a daily basis for troubleshooting you have done it.
All the general commands like wget if you want to install anything, curl command if you want to move any data, and cp command, mv command, and UFW for firewalls, and so those types of command. And the most which I have used is to create any file vi command and giving permissions, and ch own commands. So all the general commands, but not at the administrator level, but in general.
User side.
So one thing which was skipped in my Amdocs was that in a dedicated way I was aligned in the Windows side. So there was a tool known as a Packer.
Okay.
So have you heard about the Packer?
No, I'm listening it for the first time.
Okay.
So it was an inbuilt tool, or it was like
in general it is. So it was specifically used in Amdocs only, and I have given a number of interviews in other organizations. Nobody has asked me Packer till now. So Amdocs was using is very rigorously. So what happens is if you delete by chances your VMs and all the infra is deleted based on only for Linux system, then it will be recovered as it is without any loss. So for that part I didn't get a chance for the training, but that was a very nice tool.
Right, I guess likewise in some of the organizations, right? So see, when we have multiple servers in cloud, on premise, right? On premise, on cloud, right? So most of the companies will have a CMDB, configuration management database. It's called a CMDB, where we'll store all the information of the server. So it will have an IP address, it will have a server name, it will have the information that what people have, what kind of access, right? So sometimes if my server goes down, so I can go to the CMDB, I can do the restart from there. So it has all the information, right? Because sometimes I won't be able to do it as SSH. So I reboot the machine itself. So I can do it from that. So we use IPMI. It's called as integrated. I forgot the full form. It's called as IPMI tool, where it's called as CMDB, configuration management database, right? So that is one thing. Cool. Okay. So have you ever been associated with the migration? So let's say I have few of the infrastructure on premise and I want to move it to cloud.
Yes.
Or maybe vice versa as well. So any idea on that?
So vice versa I have not performed, but in Amdocs my core task was migration only.
So how did you do it? What are the few of the steps if you can highlight?
There were 8 to 10 steps, and I am elaborating it in detail. So there were 7,000 applications, in which 4,000 were supposed to be migrated to cloud. Our client was AT&T and the cloud was Azure. So first step was my team leader used to have a meeting with the concerned team the particular application was given to in our bucket. There were n number of pods in the n number of pods. There were 4 platform engineers, 1 database, 2 team leaders. So that was the structure. As a platform engineers, I used to do ADO onboarding. So ADO onboarding was AT&T's proprietary step, and it is not a generic in cloud. So we used to do some entries in their portal, and 2 kind of environments used to reflect in the Azure portal automatically. One was DevOps prod and one was DevOps non-prod. After that, we were supposed to create 3 more environments. One was POC, one was non-prod, and one was prod. Other than that, we had for every application we had a detailed documentation and one target architecture, the diagram. According to that, we had to take a skeleton code from Azure 00 environment, which was a skeleton code. From there, we used to create the resources. Database is there, load balancer is there, VM is there, and route table is there, and NAT gave it with there, NSGs are there. And then we used to run the pipeline, and the dependencies were installed in the variables.yml file. And then if any error is coming, so we had to clear that error and deploy that resource in 3 of the environments. And then that infra was handed over to a particular, let's say it's a Linux VM. So the Linux administrator will install all the softwares and the configurations it will do. And we were the part of it. So installations are, if you ask yum command, yum install that, yum install this. But if any major configuration has to be done, like using PowerShell or anything, then those people were aligned in a dedicated way. So in this way, the whole migration was done. And then after that, we had a meeting with the application team, and the cutover was done, and the applications were migrated.
Okay. So all this migration you were doing from the command line or from the console level?
Through Terraform.
Through Terraform you have done it. Okay. See, since I have not worked much in Azure, so what you do in AWS, right? So all the virtual machines we have, right? So what we do, all the virtual machines, we create a star file for all the virtual machines, right? Then we store these files on the S3. From S3, right? From S3 we launch the AMIs, Amazon Machine Images, right? So they will have exact replicas of what we have the virtual machines, and with these AMIs we used to launch the instances. So it is moved, but it's just higher kind of view. There are many more details, but good to know that this is how it works on the Azure side as well. But mostly all the migrations we have an dedicated service for the migration in AWS, right? AWS migration. So that is one we have used. So if I ask, in further rounds from AWS, you will have coding rounds where, they will ask you to do a code. So generally what we do, we share a common link, right, with the person who's getting interviewed, and they will give you an actual scenario where you have to code. So is it so are you good in coding? Because they will give you some real time experiences and you have to start coding that.
Coding, I am not in touch for a quite good amount of time. So I am planning to learn basically Python scripting after I join somewhere. Because I must tell you, I am a core infrastructure guy till now. I did my BTech in computer science, but campus hirings are done by the companies. So the company in which I was placed, that company put me on network side, not on the programming side. So there desktop support and servers and networks, and then I shifted to cloud. So cloud also in basically infra side.
Right. No, I completely understand, and thank you for being honest. But do you understand the logic?
Yes.
How the loop works, the syntax?
Yes. For loop, while loop, do it. Scripting I have not done, but at the college level.
Okay, so if you do get a chance, then you should be because this is an individual contributor role, right? So generally what happens that they will assign a ticket to you, and you should be able to finish that ticket within that SLA time, whatever time is defined there. You will get the help, but since it will be assigned to you, you will be the primary source for that.
And that too for programming.
That to the programming. Yeah.
So you should, for this kind of role, you should have the real time of experience in the past. And fairly good experience in coding.
coding. Yes, this is little important. If you
Which kind of coding, like shell scripting, Python scripting, Java programming? What kind?
anything is fine. So see, mostly we use Python and Bash scripting.
Oh, so
Right.
Python scripting as of now, I am zero in that. Railway shell scripting I understand a bit.
So when if I ask you when did you? So I guess you are not working at this moment, right?
Yeah,
Is it? Okay. When was your last day in the organization?
4th of Feb.
4th of Feb. Okay. So have you given any other interviews? What was the feedback? Did you get selected for any other
Yeah,
company?
frankly telling you, I already have a offer. So 2 to 3 offers I have. So, and one was the third party. So in the third party role, I mean one round is left, and other I have offer from Noida.
No.
So that's the thing.
Okay. So it is into the same role, SRE role?
No.
You know,
No, SRE will be, if I join you, I will be first time ever in my career, I will do SRE kind of role, or the and monitoring kind of role in the rigorous. So there is a difference between DevOps engineer and SRE engineer. So my role is more inclined to DevOps and not the. I have configured Prometheus, but for the implementation side, I have worked very well. But rigorously, if you ask me, so I have not worked on that part. And regarding my job role in there, in my project in the Noida company, so basically, majorly it will be Azure Docker, and plus they have their own infra. It's an insurance-based company, and they are using their own databases and firewalls. And my task will be to all the managing all those things.
Good to know you have an offer. But I really like your personality. That's the reason I asked HR that I really want to talk to Rifit again, and the reason I call you again. But I will pass my see, I know that for each candidate it is not it's a very unlikable situation that everybody will know everything. That is not possible.
Yeah, like I asked you about the Terraform and the Packer and all that is. So I think the explanation you gave to me, I came to know that you are more on the monitoring side and less on the DevOps side.
No, see, monitoring, if you talk about SRE, so monitoring is definitely one part of it, right? So if you look at, there's a pyramid defined from SRE. So if you look at the pyramid, so monitoring is one part. So the person should get a proper infrastructure knowledge, which I think you have, right?
Infrastructure, don't worry, infrastructure I can handle very well. Because from desktop support, if your laptop is getting issue or the desktop, so sometimes you have to clean the laptop, and that is known as the PM activity. I started my career from that level, from where the IT is started, installing Windows in desktops. So that was my first task I did 6 years back.
Okay.
So from the very scratch, I have started my career from ground zero.
And it's very, because since I have around 12 years of experience, so, and I'm taking a lot of interviews this time, right? So I have met so many people like from desktop support, and I'm happy for these people who go for the cloud certification, who understand little bit of infrastructure, right? Because they already work on the desktop support and they do some cloud, so that is very appreciable. But see, we have a team here which are SRE, which are DevOps, and we have an operations team as well. So the work of the operation team is to just do the installations, right? Like you did the Windows installation, or you do the antivirus installation, right? But what makes SRE different from Ops is that SRE knows how to code.
Okay.
Right? So that's the main difference.
Okay. So I have one question.
Yeah.
If I want to be good in, if I want to learn, your video is off. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
After I join somewhere like the company, so I will be free on Saturday, Sundays, and a quite good number of interviewers are asking me, around, not all, 30 to 40% only, are asking me for the scripting part and coding part. So how should I learn? For which portal, or because I think it's high time that I should learn programming.
Yeah, it is important because everybody. See, I'll say, since you already know about Terraform, or you can say about Ansible or Puppet, all these are simple YAML files, right? You can easily understand the YAML files. But when I talk about coding, so I'll say if you start Python, so nothing better than this, right? See, what the companies want, they don't want you should know only Python. They want to know that you should understand the logic. right? So if a person comes to me, tells me, Amit, I can write the coding, I won't ask him whether are you going to code in C, are you going to code in C sharp, are you going to code in Python. But if I'm giving them a real-time problem, they should understand it and write an algorithm for it. Maybe
Okay.
for it, right? I'm okay with any coding. So if you want to learn, I'll say better start with Python and Bash, because see, when you talk about infrastructure, most of that happens on the Linux or Mac systems, right? Because these are more secure, right? And Bash plays a very important role because Bash is easy to understand. It easily communicates with the kernel, right? And the commands are pretty straightforward. Like you do pwd, you do, if you want to remove, you can do remove command, you can use some xargs. That is pretty easy to understand. So Bash and Python, I think, is a good. So nowadays the trend is for Go.
Oh.
People are learning Go. Go is an internal language developed by the Google itself. So people are trying to learn that because the Kubernetes is coming from Google. Then they have the GCP. So people are trying to learn Go. But Python and Bash is fine. So I can say you can start with your from Python, because
But from where? That's the question.
So see, I'll say don't join any consulting firms, right?
Coaching.
Don't do any coaching. You can learn it by yourself. So there are many. So there are many portals, like you can go for. See, if you want to first understand the basics, right? So go for W3 schools, I'll say, because that is very basic. You'll get to know. Then you can. Then there is Lead Code. Then there is go for all this, where you have to create a free account on this, on Lead Code, or there's one more Cloud. I forgot the name. Cloud something. So you have to create a free account. You have to just enter your credit card details. They will debit like 1 or 2 rupees from it. They will give it back just to validate, and you can do, actually they will give you the scenario and you can actually code on a practical thing.
Okay.
Right. So there are many. Maybe after this call, because I do have your email, I will send you a couple of references where you can start doing it. I have your that load out with you.
Okay.
Ritvik, any more questions? Many more questions to me. So see, I treated you more than as an interviewer. I treated you more as a friend, right? Because I do understand. Looking at your resume, you have done plenty of things, and even I had people who are coming from a desktop background, and they have learned the server configuration, they have learned the cloud. So that is very happy. I'm very happy for that. But just to get little more knowledge on the coding side.
Okay.
Right.
Otherwise, we will be in touch. No worries.
Definitely. We'll be in touch. See, I'm always there to help. Any doubts you have, please feel free to launch me. I will, message you. I'll mail you so that
So, if you don't mind, give your personal ID. I will share. Material to you as well.
Right. It's Raina, RAINA.
Yes.
0405 @gmail.com.
Raina0405 @gmail.com.
Yes.
And you might be using LinkedIn as well.
Yes, I'm using LinkedIn.
So I will ping you in there also. Okay.
Definitely. That too, we both worked at Microland, right?
So I will be in future also. I will seek guidance regarding coding. Okay.
Definitely. Anytime, Ritvik. And I will pass my feedback. I'll see. Because see, we have many requirements. It's not just one requirement. We have multiple requirements. And if I feel that we need this much of infrastructure, maybe I have some other people who can code it. I'll pass my feedback. But I'll say all the best for your future, and keep learning.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye bye, Ritvik.
Okay. Bye.